Hey guys, welcome to the 55th C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at one character function. And the character function that we're going to be looking at is called strp_brk, which stands for string pointer break. And this function will basically just allow us to search a string for a set of characters. So it's going to go character by character through our string until it finds a character that is inside of that character set. And then once it finds a character in the character set, it's going to return the address of that character in our string. So let me just go ahead and show you an example right here. So we're just going to go ahead and create a string. I'll call it sentence, and I'll set it equal to Bob is fun. Alright, so let's say that we wanted to find the address of the first vowel inside of this string right here. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and use string pointer break for that. So we're going to say strp_brk for string pointer break. And this function takes two parameters. The first parameter is just a string that we're searching through. So in our case, that would be this string right here called sentence. So we're going to say sentence. And then the second parameter is that character set. In our character set is all the vowels. So we're just going to say A, E, I, O, U. And these are all in lowercase, so now we need to do their uppercase counterparts. So we're just going to say A, E, I, O, U. Perfect. So here is our character set. So we're basically looking through this string until it finds a character that is inside of this character set right here. So it's going to say, is the B part of this character set? No, it's not. Is this lowercase o part of the character set? Yes, it is. So it's going to return the address of this lowercase o right here. So let's just go ahead and create a character pointer to store the address of the first character inside of this string that it finds that is also inside of this character set. So like I said, it's just going to return the address of this lowercase o. So we're going to say carstar addr for address, and we're just going to go ahead and set it equal to whatever this function returns, which is going to be the address of this o right here. So now let's just go ahead and print out onto the screen whatever character is at this address to make sure that it works. So we're just going to say printf %c for character, we'll end the line, and we're just going to go ahead and print out whatever character is at the address stored in this variable right here. So we're just going to go ahead and dereference it to get the character at that address, and when we run this we should get a lowercase o out onto the screen because this function will return the address of the first character that it finds in this string that is inside of this character set. So we run this right here and we get lowercase o. Perfect. Alright, but let's say I were to change up this string. Let's say I were to make it Tim likes to draw. Alright, so when I run this I should get a lowercase I out onto my screen since this I is the first character inside of this string that is inside of this character set. Or in other words, it's the first vowel inside of this character set with these parameters. So we run this and we get lowercase I. Perfect. So this function works perfectly. Alright, but let's say we were to make this character set characters which are not inside of this string. So I make this X, Y, Z. And as you can see, none of these characters right here are inside of this string. So this function is going to return null whenever it searches through this entire string and doesn't find any of these characters. So now addr is equal to null. So we only want it to run this line of code right here if addr does not equal null. So we're going to say if addr doesn't equal null, then we want it to print out onto the screen whatever character is at the address of addr. So we run this and we shouldn't get anything out onto the screen because this function returned null, so addr was equal to null, and therefore it never got to this line of code. Now let's do something that's sort of useful with this code right here. So the first thing that we're going to do is just make this sentence back to something a little bit smaller, like Bob is fun. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and change this back to our vowels, so we're going to say A, E, I, O, U, and then A, E, I, O, U. Alright. So now let's say that we want to find all of the vowels inside of this string right here. Well, to do that we're going to have to do a loop. So I'm just going to go ahead and say while, and then inside of this while I'm going to say while addr doesn't equal null. And we want it to stop looping here because we know that there are no more vowels to be found inside of our sentence. So whenever there are no more vowels to be found inside of this sentence, we just want it to stop looping. So the only way that it's going to enter the loop is if this function doesn't return null. So if this function doesn't return null, then we just want to go ahead and print out onto the screen the character that it did find. So we're just going to say printf, and then %c for character, and then right after the C we're going to put a space, and then we're just going to go ahead and print out whatever character is at the address stored in ADDR. So we're just going to go ahead and dereference ADDR, and then we're just going to go ahead and print that out onto the screen. Alright, so right now what it's going to do is it's just going to call this function with these parameters. So it's going to search through this string called sentence for these characters. So it's going to start at the B. Is B inside of this character set? No. Is lowercase o inside of the character set? Yes. So it's going to return the address of this lowercase o. So now ADDR is equal to the address of the lowercase o. So is ADDR equal to null? No, it's not. So it's going to go ahead and print out the character that's at the address stored in ADDR, which is lowercase o. So it prints that out, and then it comes back up here. Is ADDR equal to null? No, it's not. ADDR is equal to the address of lowercase o, and it's just going to print out that lowercase o onto the screen. So it's just going to keep doing that over and over again, and it's never going to stop. Well, that's not what we want. We need to change the value of ADDR inside of our loop so that it goes to the next vowel inside of our string right here. So we're going to go ahead and say ADDR equals strpbrk for string break, and then our first parameter is just going to be sentence, since that's the string we're looking through, and then our second parameter is just going to be this character set right here. So we'll just paste that right here, and again, this is not going to work. Right up here, this function is just going to return the address of this lowercase o. So now the address of the lowercase o, when it is in ADDR, it's going to enter the loop because ADDR is not equal to null. It's going to print out that lowercase o onto the screen, and then it's going to come down here, and you're probably thinking that yes, this is in fact going to go to the next vowel inside of this sentence. You're wrong. It's going to start looking at the address inside of this pointer. So it's going to go to the address of this B right here and start looking for these characters. So is this capital B inside of this character set? No, it's not. Is the lowercase o inside of the character set? Yes, it is. So it's just going to return the address of this lowercase o, and therefore it's just going to keep looping over and over again. We want it to start looking at the character after the previous vowel that it found. So on the first iteration, we wanted to start looking at the character after this O. So in our case, that would be this B right here. So basically what we wanted to do is start looking at the character one more than the previous character we found. Address of the previous character we found is in ADDR, so we can just say ADDR plus 1. So now what it's going to do is it's going to enter the loop. ADDR is equal to the address of this O right here. It's going to print out the O onto the screen, and then it's going to come down here and it's going to start looking at the address of ADDR plus 1. And the address of ADDR is the address of this O. So the address of this O plus 1 is the address of this B. So it's going to start looking at this B right here. Is B inside of this character set? No. Is space inside of the character set? No. Is I inside of the character set? Yes, it is. So now ADDR is equal to the address of this lowercase I. It's going to come back up here. Is the address of the lowercase I equal to null? No, it's not. So it's going to go ahead and print out onto the screen that I. It's going to come back down here and evaluate ADDR plus 1. ADDR plus 1 is just the address of this S right here. So it's just going to keep going through here until it finds this U. Is U part of the character set? Yes, it is. So now ADDR is just equal to the address of this U. It's going to come back up here, print out that U onto the screen, and then it's going to come down here and evaluate ADDR plus 1. ADDR plus 1 is now the address of this N. Is N part of the character set? No. Is the period part of the character set? No. And then it's going to stop, and this function is going to return null. So now ADDR is equal to null. It's going to come back up to the top and check if ADDR is equal to null. Is ADDR equal to null? Yes, it is. So it's going to break out of this loop right here and return 0, ending the program. So now when we run this, we should get out onto the screen O, I, and U. So we run this, and we get O, I, U. Perfect. And if we were to change up the string right here to anything we wanted, we still should get out all the vowels onto the screen. So I change this to Adam really likes C, and I run this, and I should just get all the vowels inside of the string out onto the screen. So I run this, and perfect, I get all the vowels. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial, so see you guys.